Good evening and welcome to ITV News. This is Monday night's calendar.
Hello, good evening. Here are tonight's main stories.
Tributes are paid to two young men killed in a light aircraft crash in North Yorkshire as work continues to pinpoint exactly what happened.
Yes, experts are trying to establish the cause of the crash, which has left the victims' families heartbroken and created a sense of shock here within the local community.
After that incredible gold medal winning performance in the mountain bike in Paris, I'll be finding out what impact that's having on the cycling scene a little closer to home.
99 problems with the weather hotting up right across our region. We ask, what's a fair price to pay for your classic cone and flake?
And never mind your 99s, here at York Maze they put their ice cream on popcorn. It's delicious, but it's not why I'm here. I'll see you shortly.
Thank you for joining us. First tonight, two men in their 20s who were killed when a light aircraft crashed into a field in North Yorkshire have been named. The incident happened yesterday when the plane came down in the village of Thorganby near Selby.
Tonight, as the victims' families speak of their heartbreak and the local community mourns their loss, investigations into what caused the crash are still being carried out. From the scene, John Hill reports.
Well, this stretch of road outside the village of Thorganby near Selby has remained sealed off throughout the day to allow air accident investigators access to the field just over there where this light aircraft, a two-seater, crashed yesterday morning. It was around 10 to 10 here just on the outskirts of Thorganby that the alarm was raised. It prompted a large emergency response from the fire and police service, but also from the Yorkshire Air Ambulance and the Coast Guard. Sadly, though, their efforts were in vain and the two young occupants of the aircraft were pronounced dead at the scene. Well, today North Yorkshire Police released the names of the victims. The pilot was 21-year-old Matthew Bird. He came from Spofforth, and in a statement his family said, "Yesterday we lost our son, a brother, grandson, nephew, cousin and friend. Matthew meant so much to so many. We are utterly heartbroken, but he will live on in our hearts as we cherish the incredibly special memories he's left with us." Also killed was his passenger in the aircraft, Oliver Dawes, 24 years old. He lived in Burley in Wharfdale. And his family said, "Yesterday we lost a dearly loved son, cousin, nephew and friend. Oliver will continue to live on in our hearts and memories as the kind, generous, hard-working and fun man he had become. We will miss him every day for the rest of our lives. We are heartbroken." So touching tributes there from the families of the two young men who lost their lives. It's understood Oliver worked as a mechanic for Jet2 and the airline has said today it's deeply saddened by his death. It's offering support to his colleagues touched by this tragedy. And also speaking today has been the local MP who's spoken of the sense of shock here within the local community.
Villages like Thorganby are incredibly small and close-knit communities, and I'm sure that people in that village will be absolutely rocked by what they've seen, by this tragic accident and the death of two terribly young men. I'm sure it's going to take time to reconcile themselves with what's happened, not just for the village of Thorganby, but right across the Selby district. And my thoughts and prayers once again go out to the family and the friends of the two men who've lost their lives, but also to the wider community who will have to come to terms with what's happened.
Well, experts from the Air Accident Investigation Branch have been examining the wreckage at the scene all day. More inspections, more detailed inspections will occur off-site, which will allow them really to try and build up a complete picture of just why this crash happened. John Hill, ITV News, Thorganby.
Yes, a very sad story, and of course we'll keep you updated with any developments on this and on, of course, the rest of the day's news on our website. That's at itv.com/calendar.
Well, next to what was a truly sensational performance from Otley's Tom Pidcock as he picked up Team GB's first individual gold medal at the Paris Olympics in what was one of the most dramatic races in mountain biking history. Well, shortly after that win, we spoke to Tom's delighted mum, Sonia, who was watching on at the Ellencourt Hill.
Absolutely delighted for him. He works so hard. They all work so hard. It'd be great if they could all win, wouldn't it? But yeah, so many sacrifices, so much hard work, and then it pays off on days like this for sure. And yeah, the whole family's here.
A very proud mum. Great to hear from Sonia there, and hopefully Tom's incredible victory today could help to inspire the next generation to get out on the track.
Arif Ahmed is live for us this evening at Leeds Urban Bike Park. Arif, who knows, maybe you could have the next Tom Pidcock down there.
Well, I think we might do, Sally. This is incredibly busy here this evening, on this beautiful evening here in Leeds. We've been here for about an hour, and I tell you what, there's some really talented kids here. In a few years, we might be coming down to speak about them. But tonight, it's all about Tom Pidcock and that amazing race and win for him. And we can speak now to Jeremy, a former Team GB coach. Jeremy, what a race that was. It had everything, didn't it?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, it shows the hard work and dedication that Tom's, put in over the years, many years. So that performance, if that doesn't inspire anybody, I don't know what will.
And to be, to drop down to 8th and then have that mindset and that determination in Olympics is on, or when you see mountain biking, cyclocross and everything on mainstream TV, do you see a direct impact here in Leeds?
Massively. Going back to 2008, when we first had the BMX there, and we had, some of the tracks around Leeds, we saw a massive influx in kids coming down to the tracks here, 4 years ago. It's okay, it wasn't quite 4 years ago. Loads of kids come out. They see things that they don't always see on normal TV. So they see those rides, and something like Tom winning, like he did today. We'll get a massive influx here from local kids.
And you talked to me about this academy because you want to set up a really special cycling academy here, where we could see a factory of Tom Pidcocks coming through.
Yeah, so what we want to do is we've got a facility next door to us, the old South Leeds Golf Club, and the idea is to create a city academy for off-road cycling. And it's not just giving opportunity for the wider Leeds, the kids and the wider region, but mainly for the local community, to give those kids a chance that they might not an opportunity to get involved, but probably won't be able to. So, we'll hopefully find the next Tom or the next Olympic athlete, right here in maybe South Leeds or the wider community.
Yeah. And do we have some here, you think?
You know what, the kids here, the skill level is phenomenal. Like we said, it's whether they switch on and want to create something else, but the tracks we've got here allows them to develop those skills, and later on we can, push on for the more higher end
let's hope so. Thank you very much for your time,
great.
Jeremy. Well, the future certainly looks bright cycling here in Leeds.
Arif, live for us in Leeds, thanks very much. Lots to look out for. You're watching Monday's calendar. Thanks for being with us. Still to come tonight.
I'm at York Maze, where there are more than 1 million maze plants just behind me. It's a beautiful view, but wait till you see it from the sky.
And in the weather, a bit of escapism right there. What a gorgeous photo. The sunshine today really making those colours pop with our beautiful flowers. However, it's not going to be plain sailing all the way this week. Full details coming up.
More of the day's news, and a man who crashed his car at speeds of nearly 100 miles an hour, killing his friend, has been jailed for death by dangerous driving. Leon Roberts ploughed into a parked taxi on the Sheffield Parkway in February 2023 after drinking and taking drugs. Roberts fled the scene, leaving his injured passengers fighting for their lives in his car. 23-year-old mother Shana Bergin died in the accident. He's been jailed for 9 years and 6 months.
When Kylie Lang was told she had terminal cancer, one of her very first thoughts was how she would break the news to her daughter Elsie.
Yes, Elsie has autism and is non-verbal, making it very difficult to explain their heartbreaking situation to her. But Kylie from Brighouse soon discovered there are no books or pamphlets to help them.
She and her husband Dan are now working with Overgate Hospice and Elsie's Special School to help fill that gap and support other neurodiverse families, as Victoria Whittam reports.
Mummy is taking tablets. Mummy is poorly with cancer.
In 2019, Kylie Lang, now 42, was diagnosed with terminal breast cancer, which had spread to her lungs and brain.
I can remember saying, I can't go anywhere. I've got a daughter. She's 18 months old. I can't die. And we were given a prognosis of 1 year, 5 years if we're lucky.
5 years on, and having received help from Overgate Hospice, Kylie decided to support them in return. Her husband Daniel, stepson Irvin, who's 10, and daughter Elsie, now 6, gathered a team raising £7,000 during the hospice's annual colour run. But Elsie's autism diagnosis steered the family down a path that would take them beyond fundraising.
Obviously, my cancer is terminal, so there'll be a point in life where Elsie will lose me. There's so many children out there that are neurodiverse and they don't have the opportunity to be supported during such a disease.
The thing that she said to me was that she didn't want to Elsie to think that Mummy had just left her. I was actually trying to source something to help Kylie to talk to Elsie about her condition, and there's just very little out there.
The nurses visit Mummy at home.
We've decided together to write a series of stories for Elsie that will explain what is happening at certain points through Kylie's journey. We've decided very carefully on the language that we'll use. Kylie's really keen to use the term cancer so that Elsie understands that, and it's different to just being poorly.
As Kylie's treatment changes, a new book is created featuring the widget symbols Elsie's already familiar with.
It's reassuring to know that Elsie is being prepared the best that she can be. I mean, obviously, hopefully it's many years down the line and we don't have to think about any of the worst that can happen for a long time. But to know that there's people there that are helping Elsie and helping Elsie's level of understanding with regards to not only cancer but illness and stuff as well.
And feelings and grief and loss.
And coming to terms with what she's going to have to deal with.
Oh, wet.
Now the family are looking at ways they can use the stories they've created to help neurodiverse children coming to terms with life-limiting illness.
It's so hard for children, but especially children with additional needs to understand what's happening. So something in place to just make it that little bit easier, I think is really, really important, and we really need it. And it's Kylie's goal, and I would love her to get that book out just to help other people.
We've had many a meeting where we've sat down and discussed how we go about doing it, and then other families don't have to go looking for it, it'll be there for them. You can't create any more of a legacy than that.
Kylie's story is still being written, but the family say they're determined that their experience will provide help, guidance and support for other children like Elsie. Victoria Whittam, ITV News.
Strike action by nearly 100 refuse workers could have an impact on bin collections in Sheffield this week. Employees of Veolia are walking out in a row over union representation. The company says crews are working extra hours to try to reach everyone.
Now, a notable anniversary was passed this weekend. The 28th of July is exactly 110 years since the start of the First World War.
Commemorations for those people who gave their lives rightly take place, of course, every year in November. But one lesser remembered story is the important roles played by animals. Many, of course, would help transport heavy equipment.
And those animals needed care after the war by organisations who still look after animals in need to this day. James Webster reports.
3 horses, all in need of a new home. Their previous owners could no longer look after them. Here at this Blue Cross Centre in Burford in Oxfordshire, they're being cared for by volunteers.
The main objective is to give them back their confidence, give them back their trust. A lot of these ponies and horses, they don't trust humans anymore. Even being able to go and stroke one of these ponies that have probably never even been stroked before is such a major achievement.
The charity's been caring for animals in need for more than a century. Its work arguably never more valuable than after the First World War. Animals were relied upon for many tasks, among them an estimated 6 million horses and mules. Some were killed, others would suffer painful injuries. At the Imperial War Museum, their work is recognised. This gun would have needed 6 horses to pull it. The bonds between the animals and the soldiers they worked alongside were incredibly strong.
You work with the same horses or mules day after day after day. So if one of them was injured or killed, you really felt for that animal. And a lot of people had great affinity with the animals. Also, without these animals on the logistics chain to keep the men in the front line, it would have been impossible to actually fight the war. The armies wouldn't have been mobile, they wouldn't have been able to be supplied.
The Blue Cross raised more than £170,000, the equivalent of £6.5 million today, to treat animals. Hospitals for injured horses were set up, and this work is commemorated in its centres to this day. They are stories which the Mayor of Morley, Simon Brown, who was a corporal in Iraq, says are important to remember.
Definitely in Iraq, we had the dogs that would basically do the most dangerous job, go looking for ammunition, for explosives, checking for bombs. Incredibly loyal animals. And another opportunity is that sort of I remember in Kosovo and the Balkans, that the dogs were used with the mountain rescue teams as well. So dogs especially nowadays, are very, very central to the work we do.
Today, the animals in need are rarely from war zones, but last year still 17,000 dogs, cats, small animals and horses all needed to be cared for.
Pets that come into the centre come in for all sorts of reasons. Maybe the owner can't look after them anymore, maybe they've had a change in personal circumstances such as moving house or not being able to afford them anymore. It may be for veterinary reasons as well, or maybe they've just made the really sensible decision that they can no longer look after that pet, so they've reached out to us for that help.
It is building on that wartime work of more than a century ago at the charity centres across the country, including a rehoming unit in Sheffield, that animals like Ellie the greyhound continue to get a second chance at a happy life. James Webster, ITV News.
Well, it's been a very hot day today, and a very welcome sight in our newsroom was our Sally here carrying a box of ice creams.
Oh, it's the least I could do.
Well, you know, I like a 99, and they've been known as 99s for decades, but it may surprise you that the average cost of an ice cream cone and a flake will now set you back around £3.50.
Well, they didn't set me back that much, but they weren't 99s, were they? Those working in the industry, though, say people still expect ice creams to cost 50p or £1, and price hikes have led to icy exchanges between customers and vendors. Catherine Walker has spent the day in Harrogate getting the scoop of the day.
We are a nation of ice cream lovers, especially on a sunny day. But it seems our beloved treat isn't immune from inflation. At this van in Harrogate, a single scoop of ice cream with a cone will now set you back around £3. And while some customers are surprised at the cost, John says he'll struggle to break even this year.
The supermarkets sell them cheaper than what we can buy them for. So there's not much profit in the lorries at all, really. And as I said, we've got to earn what we can to carry us through winter. So we need some weather, and even if the weather comes out now, I don't think the 6 weeks is going to turn a season around for us.
Ice cream has long been a staple of British summers, with the iconic flake dating back to the 1930s. But despite what the name suggests, a 99 cone shouldn't cost 99p.
Let's dispel this myth once and for all. A 99 ice cream has never been called a 99 because it was 99p. Back in the 70s, it would have been far less than 99p. There's various opinions of why it is called a 99. None of those opinions are because it's 99p.
So how much should we pay? David has been working in the industry for 36 years and makes his own ice cream in North Yorkshire. He says vendors are struggling to combat rising costs and unpredictable weather.
It's basically down to the raw materials. We've got the raw materials as in sugar, skim milk powder. They've all gone up within the last 2 years. Packaging has gone up. We've now got a plastic tax. So it's all added pressures to the manufacturer and also the people in the industry.
But despite the spiralling costs involved in making ice cream, customers can't agree how much it's worth.
Well, I have just paid £2.50 for it, but I don't mind paying £2.50 on the rare occasion, but it should be around £1 to £1.50, if I'm honest.
I suppose about £4 would be, I think anything above that's a bit too expensive, really.
It just depends on the size of the ice cream. If it's large, I'd pay £3. Not like when I was younger and I paid 2p.
When the temperature goes up, the ice cream goes down, and that's a fair arrangement.
Ice cream has been a relatively affordable treat for generations, attracting swarms of loyal customers. But if the cost of ingredients keeps going up, there's no sugarcoating the challenges ahead for our region's ice cream vendors. Catherine Walker, ITV News.
Oh, we wouldn't want to see them disappear, would we, from our high streets?
No, and I wouldn't want to be filmed eating one either because it would go everywhere.
You're a messy eater. Now, He has terrible tusks and terrible claws and terrible teeth in his terrible jaws. No, we're not talking about reporter Adam Fowler. Literary connoisseurs will know we are in fact referring to the Gruffalo.
Are you sure about that? Now,
Absolutely
fans
certain.
of the imaginary creature are being given an opportunity to get close, well, get up close and personal with him like never before. And Adam is at York Maze for us to tell us more. Adam, have you finished eating your ice cream yet?
I have, Ian, thank you for asking. It was delicious, but I am supposed to be on a diet, so let's hope the girlfriend's not watching. Anyway, look at all this. There are more than 1 million maize plants here, and these pathways, around 5 kilometres of them. And that's to say nothing of all the sunflowers that are popping up. These, by the way, were planted during lockdown and are only just making an appearance. Well, what's all this in aid of? Well, you can see when you take a view from the sky. Take a look at this footage shot just recently this afternoon by our cameraman Phil. You can see what's believed to be the biggest image of the Gruffalo ever made. Not just him, of course, but his child, the mouse and other animals as well. All this is here at York Maze, and we've been speaking to some of the visitors who've been enjoying the maze, and a few of them who got a little bit lost as well.
You had a good time?
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think of the Gruffalo display?
Yeah,
I think they're very creative. It's very creative.
I like how you've got to find your way around, and if you go the wrong way, you've got to try and redo it.
It takes a long time to get around everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
But you got there in the end.
Yeah, we did.
Sense of achievement?
Yes.
High five. Now, all this doesn't just happen by accident, of course. If we come here through the main entrance, we're joined now by the gaffer, Farmer Tom, who, where better to interview the gaffer, the main man himself, than on a corn throne. Here he is. Farmer Tom, good to see you.
Good evening, Adam.
The Gruffalo then, why did you decide on the Gruffalo?
Well, every year we do a different theme here at York Maze, and this year been no different, and it was 25 years, would you believe it, since the Gruffalo was written, and I read it to my kids, and pretty much every parent's read it to their kids, so I thought, brilliant, it's going to make a great maze, the image is strong, so we've got all the creatures in there, and yeah, it's nice to see it in reality.
And you do one every year here. You've done all sorts over the years. Doctor Who, Star Trek, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter.
What we're going to do next year.
You must have a lot of fun coming up with what to do.
We do, yeah, absolutely. It's great fun. I mean, you know, carving images into a living crop is kind of something I dreamt about as a child, and I really enjoy the magic of coming up with the idea, turning it into reality, and then, as you guys have seen, when you fly over it and you look down and see it, it takes your breath away.
How long does it take as well between sort of coming up with the idea and then seeing this?
We normally come up with the ideas around Christmas time. I take quite a long time to design it because we want it to work for sort of young families. We don't want people to be lost in there for weeks and weeks. So we try and make it work as an activity with the family, and then we put it onto the ground. It takes about a week to chop out the plants. So we plant 1 million plants in the first place, and then we go through with a machine and a little sat-nav device and chop out all the ones that we don't want to make the pathways.
And then at the end of the season, you chop it all down?
We chop it all down, we feed it to the cows. The cows make lovely ice cream, which you were eating earlier. And then we do it all again next year, and hopefully the sun's shining like it is today.
Thanks very much. Thank you for your time. Back to the studio. Have you got any more of that ice cream?
Adam, thanks very much indeed. With thanks, of course, to Julia Donaldson, who was the original creator of the Gruffalo. I wonder what she makes of seeing her creation.
She'd be impressed. I like those chairs as well, by the way. Do you think we should get
They'd
those?
be better than these, wouldn't they?
Here's Emma with the weather.
Good visibility on the horizon. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello there, hope you've had a good day. Summer is here, and so are the flying ants. Did you notice as many as I did last night? It's going to be a very interesting week. A summery start, an autumnal end, and a thundery breakdown from the south in the middle. So currently we have this big sprawling high in place. We've got a few fronts just trying to come up against it and push through it, which gives us some cloud from time to time, pushing southeastwards, but generally doesn't make much progress into our part of the world. And then this is the low pressure system down towards the south, which is causing us a bit of a headache for Wednesday into Thursday. We think there could be some thundery downpours on that. Well, we know there are going to be, but the difficulty is the detail at this stage, this far out, because we don't know quite how far north it's going to come. So rewinding to the next few hours for our part of the world, a fine evening, some late warm sunshine on offer, and little changing overnight, as you can see. Just clear with light winds, temperatures hovering in the mid-teens Celsius. Then we're into tomorrow. Sun's up about 5:20 in the morning, sets about 5 9:05 in the evening, and it's a bright, fine, sunny start for many of us. Some cloud, as I say, will be trying to push south and eastwards, just medium to high level cloud. It's not going to amount to anything much at all. It's going to be fine and warm once again with high UV up to 26, 27 Celsius, that's 81 Fahrenheit. Starting to ramp up that humidity by this time, and overnight, of course, the houses are getting hot by day, houses and flats retaining that heat, and then really starting to feel quite muggy into Wednesday. Ahead of this humidity, the thunderstorms breaking out on Thursday, with a warning for those thunderstorms from noon until midnight. Bye-bye.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Oh, well, thanks, Emma. Those muggy nights aren't great for sleeping, are they?
And those flying ants aren't great if they get in your bedroom window, are they?
Oh, no, definitely not.
Don't want that. That's all for now. I'll be back with our late news at 11:25. Sally and I'll see you tomorrow night
Bye
at
for
6.
now.
Good night.